Hi, welcome or welcome back to the Intervention channel. I'm Steve Bruno, and the subject of this video is court dates and probation. And I should put a little slash in there for parole, although that's a rarity that I deal with people who are on parole. But I'll start with that since that's probably the trickiest one. We had a guy in the treatment center I went to who was on parole, who had jumped parole to come into the program. He was on parole. He went to prison for transporting kilos of cocaine or something like that. It was a pretty hardcore set of charges. And what ended up happening is they actually were able to make a deal with the judge to allow him to stay, and he was actually sentenced to 18 months at the program as opposed to going back to prison. So that's all I'm going to say about him on parole. It can be workable, but you want a private attorney really to help you with that. Is going to be your best bet, not a public defender. So anyway, as far as court dates go, often families will want to delay, addicts will want to delay going into a program, and they use this, or they sort of misunderstand the idea that a court date is not something that a program is going to let the addict miss. After he comes into the program, what'll happen is the program, if it's worth anything, if it's worth its salt, so to speak, will contact the court clerk. This is the direct assistant to the judge. Okay, the court clerk is directly below the judge. I am not giving you legal advice. I'm just suggesting things based on my own experience, okay? I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm not an attorney, but I have dealt with these situations numerous times before. I'll just give you a theoretical situation, just a story about someone that doesn't really exist. So again, this is not legal advice, but there was a man who had a criminal record of sorts, and his family wanted him to go to treatment. And he didn't want to go yet because he had a court date coming up, and he insisted, I have this court date coming up and I have to go see my probation officer each week, and if I don't, then I'm going to get arrested, and if I go to this program, I'm just going to get arrested. So the story goes that the family did not contact the probation officer directly. What they did is they got him into the program first, and then they had the program contact the court clerk, who is senior to the probation officer, and she contacted the judge, who's the most senior terminal in the whole food chain of his legal lineup of communication lines, right? You've got the judge, you've got the DA over here on the other side, you've got the public defender or his private attorney, and then below them you've got the probation officer somewhere in there, and then you've got the addict or alcoholic who is being supervised. So what they did was they did not contact the probation officer directly. Okay? They went and got the guy into the program, and the clerk contacted the judge, and the judge gave him a continuance because he's in this great program that the court recognizes, right? And that's what you want. You want a program that is licensed, you know, just like this theoretical person that I'm telling you about. You want somebody a program that can be identified by a judge as being acceptable as time served. This is a big bonus, right, for people who may even have jail time coming up. I'll tell you my story about this. When I went in to the program, my 7th program, and I've talked about this before, the one that actually ended up working, I had felony possession for sale, federal trafficking, felony possession, and misdemeanor possession. I have actually never sold or transported a drug in my life, but I got arrested at an airport. And if you're ever arrested at an airport, I don't know how many people out there know this, but it's on federal land. So, and if you're going from one state to another, which I was, it's considered trafficking. I had meth, and 20 years ago, they treated it not with citations as they do now, but they actually gave me a federal trafficking charge. Because I had the meth bindled, right, I had a little bit of crystal, and then I had smashed some up and put it in a bindle for my own personal use. Because it was in 2 separate packages, I automatically got felony possession for sale. I also got felony possession. for simply having it, and then I got misdemeanor possession for having some pot. So I've never sold a drug in my life. I've done a lot of drugs in my life, you know, back in a previous life. So the program contacted the court clerk. And the court clerk contacted the judge, and the judge gave me a continuance. Gave me a 6-month or 8-month, whatever it was, continuance. Well, it was longer than that, actually. It was, anyway, it was a continuance. So I did the program, and 2 weeks out of the gate, 2 weeks after I graduated, I did my first intervention. And I kept asking the judge, I kept having to write to the judge to give me permission to leave the state because I was doing interventions. I was starting to really roll. And so 6 months go by, and the court date comes up, my court date. I go to court, and I go into court, and the judge says, "So, Mr. Bruno, you've been a busy bee, haven't you? You've been doing interventions and helping families, haven't you? Because I've had to sign the approvals to allow you to leave the state." I said, "Yes, Your Honor." She says, "Okay, and you've completed this program that's recognized by the court for diversion, for drug court, alternative sentencing." I said, yes, Your Honor, I did." She took a minute, she nodded her head, she looked at my paperwork, she says, "You know, let's everybody get up and give Mr. Bruno a hand. I'm dismissing all of your cases." And she dismissed all of my cases right there. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I've learned over the years that one judge to another, their disposition makes a big difference in terms of the potential disposition of one's case. But it is nonetheless worth the while to make the effort. And if you're stymied by somebody's court date and you know they have to show up, let's say it's a divorce proceeding and you're not going to get a continuance, the programs I work with will bring the person to court, escort them to court, and then bring them back to the program. So there's that. So do that. You know, don't wait, right? Time kills interventions. Time kills opportunity. The windows close, right? So just get them into the program and let the program professionals, if you've got a good program, which you need, and you can watch my video on choosing a program, then that's the path to take. So, okay, so enough on that. And if you want to write to me directly, you can do so at stevebruno.com. There's a contact form. My phone number is there. You can ask your question in the comments section below, and everybody will be able to see the answer. If you have a subject that you'd like me to cover, go ahead and suggest it. I don't take all suggestions, but hopefully I will get some good suggestions for subjects, and happy to make new videos. And we're going to be doing interviews, all sorts of exciting things. So click the subscribe button, especially if you are a professional, and click the next video. Thank you for coming and visiting the Intervention channel. I'm Steve Bruno. Thanks for watching.